What do you think? All these things that I've got written down here are what's happened since Trump's taken office.
Okay, the first one is this guy who's supposed to be
Well, that's not one of them.
okay.
One of them is the stock market shot up.
Oh yeah, like 1,300 points yesterday. 1,300. The Dow was that was even before it opened, wasn't it? I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Just
before it
because,
opened.
just because the
Trump's
Trump
good.
name.
Yeah.
Because normalcy. Everyone's saying it's coming back to not common sense.
Everything's coming back to the middle where it belongs. There was so much uncertainty the last 3 years, and they were crazy that this psycho, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know what you would describe her as. Not because she's a woman, just because.
Well, people were scared because they thought there's going to be another 4 years of up and down, not knowing what's going on, and everything else was going on. Because that's been the last 4 years.
And then also that she said she was gonna tax people on what's the word I'm looking for?
Unrealized
Unrealized
yeah.
gain.
Yeah, ungain. Yeah, it's like we speculate you can make this much money. We're going to tax you according to what our expectations are.
Well, then they were also going to increase everybody else's. They were going to increase more corporate taxes. They were going to increase everything else, and they were going to increase everything.
Well, let's face it. Anytime you make a change to the tax system, no matter who it is, everybody suffers.
Yeah.
Right.
People think that that if you tax the so-called rich, that nothing's not gonna affect us. They're just taking money away from them, and we all know that's not true. But they get away with it over and over, and they being the media and the Democrats.
Yeah, because they've always done that because they want to pit people against each other. It's like, see, you're not having enough because these people are not willing to pay more, and that's just greed on their behalf. That's what it is.
Well,
It's all about resentment.
Because they march somebody like Warren Buffett out there, right?
Right.
They'll march them out, and then they'll say, okay, look at Warren Buffett pays just as less taxes as his secretary, right?
Right.
But the
Because
thing is,
Warren Buffett
he's
doesn't.
buffered. His corporation is what
Yeah,
Right.
Warren Buffett, the individual, he doesn't. Okay.
But
Elon Musk is the richest person in the world because
Right.
he has assets. He has
Right.
it's liquid. It's not he can't just go and get all of his billions of dollars in one spot.
no.
It takes days or even years to get everything together.
Well, look at when they went after Donald Trump to try to get him to pay all that money. And like when Donald Trump said, you can't get this amount of money that you want.
No,
me to
but
give him.
luckily he had
in
rich
this amount.
friends that put it together for him.
Right, but he had the money and assets. He just didn't have the money and the ability to run it.
Right. But that's what I'm saying is there's Warren Buffett the person
Mhm.
and Warren Buffett
The
the
investor,
corporate.
right?
Yeah, he's so far removed from it, it doesn't affect him.
Another thing is too, he'll complain and say, "Oh, the rich like me don't pay their fair share." Yet he's got people, tax experts, they're fighting and battling the IRS all the time. Tax lawyers set up to do that, protect it from him having to pay it. So it's like he's disingenuous as hell. If you're really concerned about the rich not paying their fair share, then write a check. I mean, I've always told the rich people that I went to college with, that were on there. They say, well, the rich not paying their fair
And
share.
he doesn't run his money anyways.
No, he doesn't. I mean, like, you already alluded to that. I mean, you can't liquidate assets overnight because a lot of times it means properties has to be sold or transferred or whatever. That's what it means. I mean, and it's all on paper anyway. Quite a bit of this stuff. A lot of it, his wealth is probably just on paper or digits on spots on a computer screen. That's all they are.
Back when Tucker Carlson was on TV a lot of times, and he actually had somebody on there that was like $350,000 she was making a year, right? And she was saying the same tax the rich. And he said, "Well, how much is rich?" And she was anything over 200,000. He said, "Okay, why don't you write the check for $150,000? So why don't you pay your fair share?" And she's like, "Oh, I can't do that." Then they had Bernie Sanders on.
No,
Bernie Sanders said the same thing. Why not use the tax? Why not use the tax codes that we wrote for my safe side? So they don't really want to pay the rent.
No,
so it's
no.
just like it's
And
just a talking point to get people to say it's just their talking point to get votes.
And Bernie Sanders is someone that they always bring up, a person of the people who has like 7 houses, 7
right.
mansions.
Yeah, and it's like, why don't you give them up? I mean, seriously. I mean, I can understand too, maybe a cottage and maybe a main home, but 7 houses. I mean, how many times a night, or how many times you're going to get around to them each year? Seriously.
Well, they buy them as an asset.
Yeah. So they're trying to build. What are they going to do? Rent them or lease them?
No,
or
it's
just an asset that they have, and they can go if they want to, but it's a good tax write-off to you.
Yeah. See, the thing is, you're right. See, another thing is too, the tax code. I remember Barney Frank going on about how the rich didn't pay their fair share, and if you actually looked at the code, he was in there for a long time in office. He wrote a bulk of the majority, quite a bit of the tax code at that time. I I mean, it's like, and he takes the benefit of all those tax loopholes that he allowed for the ultra rich because he's pretty much ultra rich as well. I mean, anybody who makes a few $1 million to me each year, that's rich. Okay, I
Right.
don't see how you can say that.
But-
It's not wealthy.
And another thing, the Yemen and the Houthis,
Mhm.
overnight,
Yeah,
they said, okay, we don't want to fight. We don't want to fight anymore. Donald Trump's the man, and so
Yep.
yeah.
They're coming to
they're
the
giving
table.
up.
Yep.
And he's already talked to Netanyahu,
That's coming to the table, and so is Hamas. Is getting
and he's in Russia's and Ukraine's
Well, that-
in the
Right.
works already.
I mean,
Ukraine finally figured
Oil prices are coming down.
that's
Well,
like,
I think Ukraine figured out that the checkbook for America is coming closed, and so therefore they're not going to push on it anymore.
and Zelensky's going to have to go look, elsewhere, I think, too, because I mean, there's no accountability for any of this cash either.
And BRICS is
Yeah.
falling apart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Their money's going down.
Iran.
No, I'm just saying he just gets elected and all this stuff just starts happening.
yeah, oh no, that has nothing to do with it, right? Liberals, yeah, that has nothing to do with it. Yeah.
Did you also see about Tahran's money?
Who?
Their economy.
Everybody's money's going down,
Yeah.
and the U.S. is going up just because Trump is elected. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
I'm trying to talk about Trump and what's going on in the world.
Yeah, so but the liberals will say, well, you think he's got that much sway? Yes, I do. I mean, this clearly demonstrates that he has a considerable sway over people. He's a business person.
And he's been planning this for, probably since he decided he's going to run. He's probably been putting all these people together.
Right. I mean,
I think November 6th, the last time.
yeah.
I think he's like, okay, if I'm coming back strong.
But what happened is, as soon as he became president-elect officially,
Mhm.
he could start making calls to heads of state.
Yep.
Yep, and it's like, oh, he did that before. Remember, he got criticized when he after he was just elected. He started talking to foreign leaders, and they're trying to say that violated some kind of law. And I said,
They went after Flynn on that one.
Yeah, they went after Flint. I mean, oh my God, these people are they're next in line. Just formality. The inauguration, just a formality. The passing over the sword or something like that. That's all
Right.
it is. I mean,
But he's probably got state-of-the-art security and everything, and the lines are probably so secure that he's using to talk to these people that they can't tap them.
well,
And that go ahead.
I think he would take more precautions these other idiots we have in office do now. I mean, well, if they're like Hillary.
I'm talking about from our own people. I'm
I know.
not talking about from foreign interests. I'm talking about the CIA and FBI not being able to listen into his
Yeah.
conversations like they did last time.
Yeah, see, this
That didn't happen.
or didn't happen. See, that's another thing is too. They've weaponized. I mean, they have Federal Bureau of Investigation supposed to be investigation. Okay, I can understand doing that for high level, government people. I can understand that. You want to keep scrutiny on them, but
What, honestly, what you just said was, I just think it's probably the security coming from that is probably coming more from Elon Musk than anything else.
no problem.
Well, probably.
Elon
Well,
created him something.
But you got to remember, Elon Musk is not the person that's inventing all these technologies. He's just a person smart enough to have the type of people that
Know how to do
around him that knows how to do it.
But he probably
he's
created
not the
something.
evil genius
it. No, but he probably
that
created
people
something.
make him out to be.
No, but he's probably created something that, or had somebody create something that Trump can actually have something that's secure that keeps away from the spies.
That's what I said.
Yeah. You see, basically, Elon Musk is Tony Stark. From
Yeah,
Iron
he
Man.
is,
He
he
is.
is.
He's except for the
Well,
suit.
Tony Stark invented
Yeah.
the things that he used.
Well, he's a lot like him. Okay, he's probably our closest analogy.
He's the closest thing
yeah.
to Iron Man. you
And,
ever-
and just so you people know, I don't think Tony Stark's a real person.
Well, yeah, we don't. I think he's like. I mean, we're alluding to him being
Are
a
we
character.
making this as a,
No, but
we're actually having to make this as a disclaimer, so we don't think these.
Yeah, because there's people out there that will say that.
Oh, they
we
think
thought
that
it-
he's a real person. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can see that. So it's a good thing to have.
Yes,
that.
here's a disclaimer: we do not believe that Tony Stark is real.
But if there was a Tony Stark, it would be Elon Musk. But it also.
But I mean, you're looking at 3 pages of things that have happened
yeah, since
in the last
and we just basically
not even 3 days yet,
Yeah,
and all these things have happened.
Yeah,
Well, on here though, one of the things you don't have on here, and I didn't know if you saw it or not, but was Iran has their currency.
That's it's in
Yeah.
there.
Okay, because they dropped. and-
Worldwide, the currency, the U.S.
China.
dollar has strengthened,
Yep.
and everybody else's currencies are going down.
Yeah.
Or,
I think there was a paper in
no,
Iran
because there's
Times.
probably a rush to reback their currency, or things that were backed by other means,
foreign currencies. Yeah,
by the petrodollar or whatever, are probably going back to U.S. because they're hoping they can buy it low,
Mhm.
and that as Trump progresses, that their money will
Come on.
increase, or their their investment will increase.
I'd like to know anybody that's out there with Forex. Tell us, keep us on track of what's going on with that. Keep
But
us up to date.
you're closest to the stock market.
Right.
You're closer than we are.
Right.
I don't invest.
No, it's like, well, the stock so far,
I know you're not going to be immediate because
Yeah,
you're
immediate, yeah,
everything
it's held.
that you know about is spread out.
Right. It's like, so I don't know what's invested in what, but yeah, it's going to move. I should. I'm hoping.
Well,
it's
what
gonna
happened
increase.
last time?
Oh, it did. do
Last
decent.
time Trump was elected, did you see a bump?
A little bit of a bump, yeah. And then again, a lot of that's absorbed because of cost. When you have mutual funds, they take a good portion of it.
Right.
Yeah, they do. They try to say you over a period of time. They say, well, it's not small, but when you add it up, it's quite a big chunk.
Do you ever do penny stock? Have you
No,
ever done
never
that?
did.
No.
No. See, I really don't. I don't like to invest myself. I mean, okay, I'll tell you how bad I was when I was investing. Everybody told me not to do it. I went with a Monex. Do not go with Monex for gold and silver.
Right.
They kept everybody telling me buy actual physical gold and silver would be the best option because it was
Right.
cheaper. And I bought, I put it in. I put like $5,000 in, and with the price of gold shot up like $300 an ounce. I managed to lose $2,000
Through management fees.
through these fees and through the brokerage fees and stuff like that. So I got my liquidated my account, and and I had to pay. Of course, I had to pay taxes on what I did have in there. But anyway,
Yeah, that's bullshit too.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I think Trump's going to address is all these unnecessary taxes that we have to pay. The penalties. What it is, it's a penalty to keep you in there
right,
for their buddies
Right.
right. That's what it is.
To be able to make money off your
to
money.
make sure that you keep your money in there. Why shouldn't your money be liquid? Why shouldn't you, if your stock is if you think you're doing bad, why should you have to go through all that rigmarole to fill out paperwork to move it somewhere else?
And if it's sitting in the account, you want to tax it or even if you haven't used it, as soon as you draw it to use it, it's income. I'm going to tax it. So we're slaves.
It's not income, but all you were doing is transferring it from A to B. You
Right.
didn't use it for anything, and that's why I'd rather have a tax. That if they're going to tax me, I would rather have it when I
It's
go
your-
to buy something.
It's your money.
No, but I'm
It's your
saying,
money, yeah.
if you're going to have a tax, wouldn't it be more fair that when this money is in your hand and you're not doing anything with it,
Right,
it's not taxed?
right.
But when I give it to Todd,
Yeah.
then it's taxed.
Right. I mean, that's the thing is we are. I mean, everybody thinks this is a free country. We're not a free country. We are slaves. We have to answer for everything we do to the master. We're serious. Everything we. Every
But the whole
transaction is
system
done
is
accountable.
the whole system is slavery, and they get upset when somebody doesn't want to go get a job
Yes, like, well,
because they're not in the system to where they're paying taxes. I mean, think about it. The whole thing about when we grew up, what was it that you're supposed to go to school, get an education, decide if you're going to go to college or be a tradesman, right?
Right.
And then once you got a foothold, you were supposed to buy a house and get married.
right.
But
then-
what does that do? That puts you in debt
That's exactly
Right.
what they
And
want.
then
right away. I mean, you're a young person, and the first thing they trick you into doing is buying a house.
And
You
I'm
buy
not-
a car.
No,
and
no.
you buy.
And we
Exactly.
we beat up these young people for living with their parents. Maybe they're smarter than we were.
Well, another thing is, you can attest to this because you lived in Europe for a while. You lived in Germany and around Europe. I was told that actually there was no big deal if you're in your 25, 30 years old. A lot of them lived with their families.
Well, part of the thing is
you can't own property.
you can't own property. It has to be inherited, and they really beat you up on it. Most people, at least in Germany at the time, a 4-bedroom home over $1 million
Yeah,
with no real land.
it's just a grill like small.
Just
maybe
a
like
little
lot.
little plot, and then you're paying all those taxes, and then when you die, they really beat you up
Yeah, see,
because they don't want you to own anything in Germany.
that's that's what it is, and they got to. No, it's moving that direction. Everybody think it's so great because now we're becoming more sophisticated, like in Europe. I think you're idiots.
Well, look at
become more
all
sophisticated.
the taxes, the gray taxes you pay when you have to pay house insurance. You have to pay the taxes, summer and winter taxes. You got a water bill that's taxed.
Yeah.
Government sucks.
Yeah, and we are there. We exist so they can have a job and get a
That's
paycheck.
it.
That's it. And they provide piss poor service. They don't address things fast enough. Look at the water crisis.
You can't even live off grid without them being up your ass.
Oh yeah, if like I said repeatedly, if we found a way to heat and cool our homes that doesn't require consumers or some kind of utility company, those bastards, along with our other bastards in the Congress or Senate, make it illegal.
Well, the same thing. Okay, as soon as you hook up the city water, where I lived, we were on well water.
Right.
I mean, when I was a kid. But as soon as, first thing they did is poured cement down a perfectly good well.
Yeah.
Yes, you're not allowed to have a second system once you're on city water.
It's like, yeah.
That's stupid.
And the other thing is, if you back in the water crisis came up here in Flint, they said, "What if you drill your own well?" They said, "Well, we you could do that, but they were going to charge you for sewage, sewage. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
going to have to charge you for that." So it's everything. Even if you
Why
got
couldn't you put a septic tank back there?
the septic tank's different because your septic, septic.
Oh no! Once you hooked up to
Yeah.
that, they bust it up and they fill in your septic tank too.
Yeah. They think it's like they're going to use a health risk, scenario.
But everybody else had, and then they changed it. You just can't have a septic tank. You got to have a system. You got to have it. You got to take up half your backyard with pipes that run out. It's crazy what government does.
And it's not necessary. I mean, let's face it. Yeah, there's a bacterial infection possibility, and that's probably the cause. Yeah, I don't know if you knew this, but polio is people born. It was born in the and between the shots or the vaccinations or whatever, and the cube or whatever, and the adaptation of to having actually sewage, they eliminated largely eliminated polio. But it was a 2 or 3 prong approach. It wasn't just the vaccine alone. But I mean, it's because so many people did have outhouses, even in the city of Flint and Beecher area and stuff. They had quite a few outhouses back in the 40s and 50s. Just at the tail end when I was born, they were basically sealing up those ones that did remain.
Outhouse is one thing, but having the septic system is an outhouse.
Yeah, but people were smart enough. Well,
Yeah.
not now because
No.
we lost all that knowledge. They knew to put lye and different things in their outhouse.
Right.
What I guess. Well, I don't know what else you would call that
Pit, I
hole.
mean,
The
yeah.
pit.
Yeah, I mean,
They
it
knew
break
to
down.
treat it.
It break down. I mean, bacteria is the biggest concern because after the bacteria is dead, okay, then it's just an it smells.
But people
bad,
act
it's
like
dead.
people act like our ancestors were so stupid.
Yeah,
They weren't.
they
No.
got us here this far. I mean, that's like sex education in schools. Like, what do you? It's a how-to manual. We're all here. Somebody knew how to, have sex.
And
It's
they look at a
ridiculous.
farmer and what is a farmer? A farmer always has to be a chemical engineer
Oh, yeah.
now in order to treat all that acreage with the chemicals that are probably required by government.
So there was a woman that was taught economics at U of M briefly, and she was really cool. And she grew up on a huge farm. Her family, what they call cereal farmers, grains and stuff like for cereals. And man, she had such a grasp of like everything, common sense. I mean, and she was like, and she considered herself, and she traveled the world. She had a combination of intelligence of like, she was really smart, taught to.
Right.
And she said people, basically people just unaware of what they get themselves into and financial things, also the reality things. I mean, the farmers are.
If you look at history, I mean, have you ever looked? If you look at some of the things that these people wrote and the knowledge that they knew that had been lost, and people are acting like we're rediscovering it.
Well, it's like, you ever heard of Democracy in America? It's a book written by a Frenchman who came to visit the United States in the late 1700s or early 1800s. And his name is Alexis de Tocqueville. And he traveled through this area we consider Flint. And he said he was impressed by the fact that we had so many people here that he was just running across backwoodsmen, basically, at that point.
Right.
And they could speak 2 or 3 different languages, knew the classics and all that, and phenomenal.
Because education was important at one time.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it's not important now. It was a different way because this was your computer.
Right.
If it wasn't up in here or you couldn't go get it a book, you didn't have it.
Right.
But now you have a phone, you have a computer.
Yeah, but
Could you imagine how people from the 1800s got experience with this and how they're built the knowledge you already had? Do you think we realize how much further they could be ahead of the rest of us with this stuff after the information accessible that fast?
But you know what's the first thing with knowledge? They know that knowledge is power,
Right.
and they don't want to give it to the little people. They
Right.
want to hold on to it and enslave people. I think it would. I don't know.
Well, see,
I think, but if you gave them that technology now, I think we'd be in a world of hurt right now. 'Cause look, we're in a world of hurt now.
right.
I'm not blaming it on any generation. It's just the way we just don't know how to use the technology. I mean, we think we do, but are we really?
You know what we're lacking?
What?
We're lacking common sense.
That's
Well, I don't want to.
No, we are. No, don't even say that. We are lacking common sense, and here's the reason why we're lacking common sense. We're lacking common sense because a lot of people right now are so much on their feelings that they're forgetting that common sense is what ruled this country forever and ever and ever. Back in our ancestries, those guys had common sense. When you talk to a farmer,
I'm
they
sure
had
if you
common
read
sense.
the papers, they were attacking. Well, but they were attacking each other for their ideas, not as a person.
They didn't give a crap about feelings.
No,
They
there
were
were
about
some
their
knockdown, drag out fights.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
yeah, but they fought it out
over things.
And they shot it out and they go, that's okay, fine. But I'm talking about
I'm
people
just-
like common sense. they actually sat there and figured out how to actually. When you're an old farmer, you grew up on a farm. You grew up. You knew how to work on a farm. You passed it down from one generation
Okay,
to another
but
generation.
it takes not only common sense but street sense to come up in the city of Flint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't.
See, every culture.
Each generation is different.
But you didn't have to come up with knowing about what Faulkner meant about.
But you had to come up with, I'm not going to go in this neighborhood at night, or I'm not going to,
Well, yeah,
I'm not going to wear these colors.
You have to know street fence and concepts. You didn't have to know anything.
No,
about
it
Well,
evolves.
it's like basically we got the potential now where you can actually, grow outside of the area you're normally tied to, like you're talking about the inner city, because you have interaction with people from outside those things. You can gain knowledge or information about that, so you have a greater chance of developing a better sense of the worldview worldwide. But what do we basically do with it? I mean, we're still being spoon fed, and most Americans are spoon fed by what we call the legacy media.
Okay.
Well, and I think it's coming to a stop.
Yeah.
I seen people posting, I don't know if you've seen it, the meme with the gravestone and a guy
Yeah.
going, taking a picture, giving a thumbs up with the media's, Fox News, CNN on the headstone. Someone even said it last night. I don't think it was Gutfeld. Said that they're dead. They're gone. They're toast.
Well, see, I go to YouTube to watch a lot of stuff that I don't go to major networks to watch entertainment anymore, because I find a
No.
hell of a lot more entertaining
Because-
stuff on YouTube.
Because you know that they have a bias. Even Fox News has a bias,
Right.
the biasy or whatever. They're going to give it to you on their slant. They don't give you the news. They give you what they think
want you to
think
hear.
is news, and they hide stuff. Look, even going back to the election, it could have been called as early. Well, just given the just wait until Georgia with the bomb threats that was cleared up for Georgia.
Mhm.
I think that was at 10 o'clock Eastern time. It could have been called.
Yeah,
They didn't have to wait until the middle of the night. But one question I have for you guys: in Trump's first 100 days, what's one thing that you would like to see him address right away?
I definitely want to see the situation in Israel Palestine come to a stop. I mean, the slaughtering and the deaths. I mean, I'd like to see that, because that weighs on me. It really does. Because I mean, I just think that this ally of ours is being harder and harder to justify. Israel, because they're going way beyond. They're going up to Syria, going up to Lebanon. Yes, they have a right to defend themselves, but I don't think they have a right to destroy the sovereignty of other nations in that attempt. I don't.
No, but
I think the gas prices. I think the energy, the gas is what I'm after.
Okay, yeah,
but that's already coming
Right.
down.
So
I mean,
what I wanna see
something
is
one
put it
thing,
down.
one major thing.
No, that would be the one major thing for
Oh,
me.
that's
no,
a
I'll tell you why.
gimme.
Wait, no.
You don't
That's a
have to
gimme.
tell me why. That one's a give me.
No, but I'll tell you why. And even though I don't have to, I'll tell you why. Because honestly, you do that, you're going to lower the prices. It lowers everything all the way across the board.
Right.
But as we've already talked about, that's already happening.
Well, get it to the point where it's under $1, and you're going to get my vote all day long.
Yeah, it's people don't understand that. I mean, I was talking to somebody, and they said they were talking to a person who's got a wealthy family member, and they're saying, like, I don't care, I'll pay an extra $1 or $2, and at the gas pump and stuff like this. Like, yeah, you're fine to do that, but you realize now you're going to go to the grocery store or whatever, and you're going to have all this stuff tacked on, because everybody else has got to put that cost into the price of what they're charging you for the goods and service you're getting.
Bring the grocery prices back down for everybody.
Yeah, so you bring
Yeah, but you can't
No, you
directly
can't.
do that.
You
You can't. I'm saying one thing by executive order that you would like to see Trump do. Grocery prices aren't something that you can do that are going to affect you immediately. I'm saying something that can change, like January 6th, guys.
I would say
That would
release
be
those guys.
for me is immediate release.
Release
and
all those
pardon.
guys right now.
I'd also, like you and I talked about this, I think too. I'd also, if I were Trump, I would give amnesty to Hunter Biden. I would give all the people of January 6th, all the people, and just say, okay, well, clean slate. We can't go back, change things again. We're just going to go forward, because I mean, otherwise you're just going to have axe grinding going on. That's
I think
all
I would
have.
also do this. I would get rid of the men and girls sports. I would say kill that, kill DEI. I would kill the wokeness real quick.
And do you think it was a good? I mean, it was a positive sign when I saw that Toyota wasn't. It would, just basically did away with DEI.
We talked about
Yeah.
that was overnight, not because of Trump. This
No.
was before Trump.
Right.
A lot of corporations got rid of DEI, but that's because I told you about that group that was going around and comparing American, like that was Toyota that they did that to. I forget what the name of the group is, but they looked at the United States. They scoured their website, and then they went how they're doing in other countries, and then they started boycotting Toyota or threatening to boycott, and they're the ones that actually got rid of DEI.
I
And
think get that border closed within the first 100 days.
he already said that he would do that. That's going to be a pen whip. I
That's-
mean, that's all that's going to be doing is just putting everything back like it was when he handed it over to Joe Biden. A lot of these things that we're suffering from now was undoing what Trump has already done.
Right, so he just can basically shore that up again, push it back, and put that back in place, or those things back in place.
But the cool thing about it is because
And cut regulations.
because he's president elect, he can already let these people know or give them a warning order. This is what's going to happen on noon. Was it the 26th or the 20th?
21st, I think. 21st.
I didn't hear so.
Whatever, the week of the 20th
Right, it's
of
21st,
January,
right.
that he can say, so you don't have to wait, or well, they probably legally they have to wait.
They have to
but,
wait
but
till
whatever,
12:01.
12:01, this is what's coming, and already give them a copy of their marching orders.
I would like to see what we all talked about that one time where he doesn't go to that one side of the Capitol and gets sworn in, but he actually goes somewhere else.
Just does it inside.
Yeah,
Just do the COVID thing.
Yeah, I would just say just do that. Don't be very low key about it. You saw the bells and
He already
whistles.
did it once.
Yeah, so you had all the fun. I mean, you had the entertainers, and guess what? With all the people not and the left not liking you, you'd have very scant amount of people that would want to show up to perform anyway. So who cares?
Why put your people in harm's way like that?
Right.
If you're going to do something, wait until it warms up, and do it centrally.
Right.
Why not? Like go into East Palestine? Is it Palestine, or at least closest to that town where people can get accommodations,
Yeah,
and have it there, and have all that money come to
Right.
them. Why have that money come to Washington?
because
Yeah.
that's those guys.
No, but I'm saying, wouldn't it be smarter
I think
to have a
that's-
centrally located place where everybody in the United States can easily get to and not worry about
Yeah.
the mean police of Washington breathing down their neck?
Yeah. Get it
And-
somewhere where the
And then
people
you would
need
have,
them.
wouldn't it be more fun to have the people that actually want to be there with them?
You know what
there?
the best place is? Take it back to Gettysburg. That would be cool.
Well, you're making a point.
No, nothing. I'm saying centrally located. I'm not saying East Coast, West Coast. I'm saying like in Illinois,
Right. take it
Ohio,
somewhere
Kentucky,
nice.
some little town that has been decimated. The Springfield, Illinois,
All right.
somewhere near one of those towns, have
Have
a
some
meeting
sort
of
of-
all the people, and then they're protected species, the Antifa and everything in Washington.
Yeah.
If they try to show their butt off in local Ohio, they're going to get arrested and they're going to be jailed.
Right.
So why not have it somewhere where the laws make sense?
Do you think
And-
there's going to be an insurgence now once again about the BLM and other type of more radicalized
They're going
groups?
to try to.
No, because I think he's going to have the National Guard. If he's going to do that, he learned his lesson. The National Guard will be on standby.
Yeah, because I was just wondering about
Because
that.
you got to remember, he's going to have the House this time.
Yeah,
It's not going to be Nancy Pelosi in there. It's going to be your buddy is going to be in there. So
Mike Johnson.
he'll be able to get the National Guard.
Yes, and he is my buddy. I will take all credit for Mike Johnson.
But I'm sure he'll have it set up that he'll have everybody would be protected this time.
yeah, Mike does. know
But
what
if
he's
they
doing.
wanted to destroy Washington D.C., they can burn it down. As far as I'm concerned, as long as they stay away from the memorials and the monuments
And the White
and the
House.
White House.
Yes, when I was there, man, and I was there one time in DC. I never met a bunch of more militant panhandlers in my life than that city, man. It was terrifying, man. These people would get right in your
I
face,
worked
screaming.
there.
Yeah, they're not nice people.
How would you compare it to Chicago?
You know what? There is no comparison. The DC panhandlers are belligerent assholes. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I care about the poor people, but when you get in people's face screaming, spitting, and right in their face, never had that happen in Chicago. Hey, man, you can. They start talking nice. Here, I give a couple bucks. That's how I feel, and they just walk away. But no, not DC. They get right in your face, screaming at you.
But that's not okay. There are some of the guys there because I was there for a long time, and they're not everybody's like that. There's a lot of nice guys, but a lot of the guys that work there all live up in the Virginia in the
We're talking about panhandlers.
the Panhandlers. They
Yeah.
live there, but there's a guy that lived. A homeless guy in DC who died right when I was getting ready to leave in DC.
Hmm.
When he died, they took his coat. He was a multimillionaire. He sold it into his coat, and they actually found out he was a stock stock trader one time, a long time ago. He just lost it one time and just walked away from the stock trade and walked over to DC, and he just lived over there and couldn't handle it no more.
Yeah, who
Yeah.
could though? That'd be stress. That.
But what do you think? There's already talks that or I guess they leaked out or whatever that he's been in talk with Russia and Ukraine already to come to the table. He's been in talks with Netanyahu already
Yeah,
to
and
come to the table.
Okay, refresh my memory. Did Biden or
He could have done it. He could have done it right away.
He didn't do anything, did he? And
No.
Because I don't, you know what it was? They didn't want him to sit down because his dementia would be very apparent in the world press.
But the thing is, you
put Biden in.
But Biden doesn't have to talk directly. If you have good enough people, if you have a Secretary of State that's not in there for their own. Well, who I don't even know who the Secretary of State is for Biden. Do you?
Who is it?
No, I don't.
But I bet you can name who the Secretary.
Blinken.
Okay, but I bet you can name the Secretary of State
Mike Pompeo.
Right.
Do you think
he was all over? Remember that he would be
back.
He's coming back?
Yeah.
Same role or?
I haven't heard anything. As far as I know, nothing's leaked who's in his cabinet other than the people that you see. This is a rumor, if anything.
No, let me.
Nothing's been announced.
Let me clarify that. When he was interviewed, he said he'd be honored to come back to the cabinet.
Okay, a lot of people would be honored to come back to the cabinet, but it doesn't mean that he's coming back.
He's one of the top guys that Trump had, and Trump and him has been close all of a sudden. And when they wanted him to run,
I don't know that he's been Trump. He hasn't come out. He didn't come out. I've never seen him at a campaign rally.
Yeah, he was.
Pompeo?
Pompeo's always been a supporter of Trump.
Well, you could be. I don't think he's going to come back. I don't think Trump's going to have any of those people back in his cabinet.
He'd be stupid not to have Pompeo.
I don't know that. I don't.
Pompeo's the best Secretary of State we've ever had.
That's because you're going back to what you've been spoon fed by the media.
No,
Trump's never said that.
Trump doesn't have to say it.
I'm just saying. I don't know where you're getting your information. There's nothing's been leaked about who's in his cabinet.
I didn't say he was going to go to his cabinet. I'm saying you don't have to get spoon fed by it. But Mike Pompeo was the best Secretary of State.
In your opinion?
Well, it has to be in your opinion too.
No, it's not.
You didn't like him?
I don't have any opinion towards. I'm saying whoever Trump picks is the man that I'm going to be behind.
All I know is Trump was in office. We'd have as many issues internationally as we do currently have.
Good Secretary of State.
So good with his.
But that's all I was saying. But I'm not going to lick his ass and say that he's the greatest Secretary
I'm not
of
licking
State
his
in
ass.
the world.
I'm just saying he's the best we've ever had though in a long time.
As far as you're concerned.
Anyway,
I liked Hillary Clinton myself.
Oh, good.
Oh, you serious? Did you actually say that on the street?
Would you guys stop fixing this stupid restream, please? Stop fixing this restream because I don't like the.
No, but you can't say that.
I can't say he was the best.
You can't say that somebody's going to be
in the day I die because he's the best.
Okay, but you can't say that anybody's going to be in his cabinet until he announces.
I'll pay you $5 right here.
You can bet all you want. No, he's not going to be.
I'll bet you one patch of bites.
He's not going to be.
One set of bites.
Fine. I'm telling you, he's not going to be in the cabinet.
Okay, he will be.
No.
One bites or one dinner.
Okay, move on. We're trying to get some content here.
So I think it is content. But anyway, no, I'm definitely I'm feeling better about this country's position. I mean, the other day I had that situation, the thing I had to deal with in a medical thing, and it was colonoscopy. So that's not a big deal. It's not a shocking or whatever.
I wasn't going to say,
but I mean that was a relief to get that all done. No pun intended on that. But anyway, and then when I saw that he got when it was apparent that he was going to be the president again, I went, okay, we've got these two things handled that I cannot feel more at peace. I went to sleep that night. Really went to sleep. I mean, felt good about it because I mean every day you don't know when you're going to wake up with this.
But still, didn't you have that in the back of your mind? Am I going to wake up and they're going to take everything overnight? I'm going to tell you, I didn't.
Well,
what did you not?
That they were going to steal it back? Did you think that?
No, I don't think that. No, I didn't think that. I thought
but I stayed up. I did stay up thinking that if it went slow, that if it slowed down,
but I mean,
they would do something.
I don't know how many elections you watched in the past. I mean,
well, several, but it's just.
But I mean, like you watched this one. This is like it should have. The election went like it should have been.
Right.
All I can say is that the Democrats, if they're screaming about how Trump won, the reason why he did, he put forth the.
They can't though. If you've noticed, they're not.
No,
because they can't, because he won the popular vote by over 1 million.
Yeah, it's like there's no way he's
Well, he
got
won-
this sealed up.
well, you won, like we said, he had to win big.
He
and had to
did,
win
but
decisive.
that's why they can't say anything, because it's a done deal, and there's no way that you can, especially when he got the rest of the blue wall or whatever, not the
He
blue
turned
wall.
the blue
He
wall.
took the rest of the swing states, so
Right.
Yeah, just
it's the only Minnesota that he didn't get, right?
but if
But that's not part of the blue wall, is
Yeah.
it?
Or I don't know. But what I'm saying is he took so much that they can't say anything, and then getting the popular vote
But
on
he
that.
only took.
But have you seen a map of the United States with all the red in it?
yeah,
There's not that much blue.
no, there isn't. Only
And with
pockets.
Virginia, he only came up 4 points short.
I mean, he just
That's
put-
that's not heard of for a long time.
I just
Well, what somebody said that I listened to, next time around, New Jersey is going to be red.
You think?
yeah, well, yeah,
No, that's not my thinking. That's the people in the know that I've been listening to, that it's so close.
I talked to guys who actually online who actually grew up were born in Brooklyn, New York. They went to New Jersey to get away from New York, and then New Jersey was kind of a halfway between now they're in Pennsylvania, but they're very strong Trump supporters. They're posting stuff on Facebook all the time, and they said it's growing momentum there in New Jersey. And I think it's really encouraging too. So many black bloggers I see on TikTok or whatever. They're coming out, and man, they're just loving Trump being reelected. I mean, it's like it's not just
It's their president.
it's their president.
Everybody's saying it's Trump is my president.
Right.
Everybody's saying it. But these people that were making these videos for him, they're in the minority. They've always been in the minority.
Right.
But because we've been letting them come up and beat their chest like Harris was. They kept on saying Harris. I mean, you would have thought that Harris was going to win if you would have just looked at TikTok, wouldn't you?
Right.
Because there's nobody saying anything.
But they paid these guys. They paid a lot of those.
Oh, a
people.
lot of them are poor now. They have
yeah.
no money.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do for the next 3 years.
No, I think it's very encouraging because I do think that Trump is the unifier. I think they ironically prosecuting on bullshit charges. So excuse me for lack of a better term. I think that actually he's fed well into. He's got people like him because he stood up against the law and he actually faced off for charges and stuff like that. Give him street creds. I mean, serious street creds. Facing these unfair prosecution.
They
Well,
threw
I mean-
everything at. Well, James Carville actually said we've thrown everything against this guy, and he still stood.
Well, gee, yeah, I just watched the Carville. There's a clip from a few weeks ago, man. He was so smug, basically how bad Trump was going to lose. Yeah, I guess that Gargoyle is going to have to go into retirement now. I think he's going to have to because he's
Well,
not.
it's just like you brought up at the beginning of the show, but
Yeah,
we wanted to talk more about what's happened. But the Lickman guy, he didn't want to give it up. Alan Lickman with his keys.
His
Yeah.
13
It showed
keys.
him online
Yeah.
when he knew that.
Now I was actually watching.
But the
him.
thing about it, he was wrong before, but the media covered that up.
I was watching him on election night. I was watching him live on election night on TikTok.
You must have been bored.
I was.
But
I was watching different
did you
things.
watch it at the point when he knew that?
Yeah.
I don't know. He thought he was like a maniacal, evil genius or something with those.
But-
I have the keys.
Yeah,
But the
that's,
funny
the
thing is when
keys.
he was going like this, and
I know. The funny point is when he almost cried when he knew that she wasn't going to take
Right.
Pennsylvania.
and he was like, "Oh,
She
that-
didn't
that's
take
not
it.
right."
And did you see the CNN thing when they said do a comparison with the counties that she's doing as well or better than Joe Biden?
And they pulled it
And
up.
it pulled up a blank screen.
Then,
And he
then
goes,
they
she hasn't taken anything?
your crickets.
well, no, they actually asked him to pull up across the country,
Yes, that's what I just said.
and now
Nothing.
no.
No, I think this is an interesting. I think it's like despite the best efforts
Well,
of going after
I
him.
think, but do you think, okay, I don't want you to explain it. I just want you to say yes or no. Do you think it's the end of the Democratic Party as we know it?
Yes,
Yes. Yeah.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Okay, and why?
because they have to realign. They've got to come back to the center.
Yeah, they need to. You agree with what?
Yeah, they got to come back. They went too far. Okay,
Okay.
this guy's speaking something. We got to go their route. Now we got to bring all our forces to bear for their cause. That's not going to work. You can't be. You got to
But
be.
think if they would have put RFK up there, what you think? Maybe we would be
Having the same.
thinking about. You think Trump would have had the same chance against him? Because RFK wanted to attack Trump, he would have been talking about what RFK was going to do as a president.
Right.
He wouldn't be talking about Trump.
No.
And the same thing with the gaffer.
That's again, it goes back to what I've said yesterday. Is like I think he's this great. Trump is a great bill, has this great ability to pull in critics and become, make them so they work with them. And RFK certainly would, because the Kennedy clan's got that mentality. They've always been their outstanding people.
But when he talks, he has substance.
Yeah. I mean,
Think about it, he could have just won on the food.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I want Trump to do as an executive order, is just make sure that's the first thing that I think should be taken care of is our kids.
We got obesity problems. We got a high rate of autism. That's didn't crap up. I mean,
But Kennedy explains it in such an easy way to understand.
I think what Trump is going to have is a team going out and working on everything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, he already does.
Yeah, there's already.
It's going to be a Gatling gun approach.
And these things, these 3 pages are proof that he knows that things are going. He has planned.
Well, look at the time he was president in the past. He got accomplished more in the first 100 some days that he was in office than all those idiots for both parties did in years previous.
Right. And
I think it was 70 something days. I know he beat them. He beat them in their administrations. I think it was like 74 days. He had more done in 74 days than the previous administrations had done over 8 years.
And still fighting them tooth and nail all the way along.
Right.
Because you had Nancy Pelosi fighting him the whole time.
Well, the other thing, do you think healthcare is the issue that they make it out to be? Do you think most people? I mean, do you know people that I worry about my healthcare?
No. I mean,
You think people are worried about abortions and women's rights?
No.
I mean, it's like, okay, if you want an abortion, you still can get one.
Not to the point that they try to, the media.
I think that's such a weird thing to consider yourself. That's part of your autonomy. The biggest portion of your sense of autonomy as a person is so you can get a child worked out of your womb. I think that's bizarre. I mean, I think Andrew Tate said
but it's men.
Yeah.
It's men that are worried about it too.
Well,
I want my daughter to have an abortion.
It's like,
I want my
but I'm just saying,
have more women's rights.
But these things aren't the issues. The biggest issue is, how am I going to heat my house over the winter?
Right.
How am I going to feed my kids? How am I going to provide transportation, meaning fuel,
right,
to get them there? Because I think most people are less than one paycheck away from going under.
That's one thing I disagreed with Rush Limbaugh one time years ago. He said those liberals want you to believe you're only 1 or 2 paychecks away from poverty.
People are.
Yeah.
One big thing, a heating system in your house, the roof.
Right.
You're done.
Right. You're screwed. I mean, your whole world's collapsed on you, because guess what? A lot of it's regulation. You got a bunch of friends, you go get the materials, get the new roof on, right? Now you got to pay a municipality a couple $100 for a damn permit.
Yeah, tell them the story about the church getting the roof fixed.
We had the roof repaired on one side. We got the other one.
It was a repair.
A repair, right? So anyway, the guy did it. It was like the Compassion Club paid for all the stuff. It was close to $4,000. Well, what it was is, I found this out later, and this is somebody told me, when you have products delivered from like a Home Depot or whatever, they have to alert the city where you're in so they can see if you got a building permit pulled. So they came out and they were putting it on. This guy came up here and he said, "Well, I know I want to be cool about it, but you're supposed to have a permit, and it's put based on a portion of the portion of the amount of money used for the supplies to do it and materials." I said, "Oh, so
that's pretty stupid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why if you're gonna have a permit for a roof, why should your roof cost more?"
It's like $200 some.
So you have to pay. So if it costs you $4,000 for the
plus
materials,
then I had to pay a $200 fee for the permit for it. See, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they wonder why people don't try to fix their houses up. Well, if they could save enough money for materials and get the people on board to help them out, a lot of times there are people willing to pay, do it for free. Then you got to pay some government agency to come and inspect it.
And he didn't expect it. He didn't go up on the roof, did he?
No, he just took. Oh yeah, okay. He looked at the permit. Okay, fine. That's it. There's no input. All they want is, we got our share. We got to get our share. We got to get our share.
So you had to write him a check for $200.
I had to go down there to pull a permit. I had to fill out a form and get the number, the address of the place, and all this stuff, and how much estimated materials were. I already had that in hand because they already told me. But yeah, it's ridiculous, and it's basically, we exist so they can have a job. If they didn't have a job, a lot of them would have no.
But how many of them do you think are shaking right now? Because Elon Musk has mentioned whole departments being gone.
Right.
In the Department of Energy.
Well, the Department of Energy should be eliminated. The Department of Education be eliminated.
But he already named the departments, the Department of Efficiency.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
No, I mean that's one of the departments they
Right.
named. He knew that they're not efficient, so therefore they're not doing their job, and they
Therefore,
need to
they're gonna
go.
cut.
and
But just because something's cut doesn't mean somebody loses his job. You can move him somewhere
Somewhere
else
else, yeah, I mean-
because he might, with these cuts, might put other departments in
And put them in places where they're more qualified.
needed.
right.
Right.
And so nothing, but I mean, that's one of my concern because I don't like government bureaucrats, but unemployed people anywhere is going to, it's going to impact on a society, society wise.
And that's another word. We shouldn't call it cuts. It's a rollback. It's not a cut.
No, it's like
It should have been there to begin with
Right.
to be cut.
it should never. Yeah, because none of these.
They want to use words like cut because
It just sounds
it
worse.
sounds worse being cut.
Well, remember when they were talking about the inheritance tax? Is a polite term, but then when you actually calling it a death tax, people, whoa.
Were you?
Yeah, then people started getting.
I
booked for cutting it.
mean,
you-
you know people who suffered under that.
Oh yeah.
Were you in the military in the 90s?
Yeah, that's 1981.
Okay, so you remember the palm downs with Bush's era, right? Where
The what?
where we we pulled down different bases in North Carolina and different places. The Navy did. I don't know what they did in the Army.
There were unneeded National Guard things and different things shut down. I mean,
So when we shut down
But-
a lot in North Carolina, and we just called them roll downs and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and we shut down bases all over places all across the country.
Was that a smart move though?
No, it really wasn't because
I don't know whether it was or not. It just happened so long ago that I don't even remember it.
Well, no, I
It was
remember
even close.
I remember what happened when we did it.
All it is moved you around.
We moved some of the people around, but a lot of the guys that we moved around lost their housing, because of the.
But that's the choice you make by being in the military.
But
That
the
you know
people-
you're not going to stay in one place.
But the
I
civilians we
was
had
a-
working at the civilians we had working at the base.
Same thing.
Lost their jobs.
So
That was it.
I mean, you don't stay open because somebody needs a job. I'm sorry.
No, I'm telling you.
Like,
that.
it's like it's a business model in that sense. It's got
It's a catch-22.
yeah. I mean, it's like it's a bad situation for somebody.
I feel bad for somebody losing their job, but
But you can't keep a base
Wait.
open just because of business.
No.
No.
You gotta do it. You can't keep a business open at a place just because someone's going to lose their job.
That's what I said before. I said we don't start a business. People don't start
I'm
business.
sure-
I want to apply 10,000.
I'm sure they tried to give the people options. The people that've been there for
Well,
a while.
we did give people a chance to move to other places, but
They couldn't afford it, or they didn't want to. But
right.
it is what it is. Of course, with cuts and changes, some people are going to suffer.
The town
You can't help it.
Yeah, I mean it's.
But
Well,
DC needs to suffer a little bit.
yeah, because they've lived on the fat of the land for years. I mean, I don't think they've ever suffered any privation, even the worst case scenario. I mean, I don't think they suffered much during the Depression. I don't. I mean, in fact,
But
I know they did.
how long do you think it's going to take before General Mills or Kellogg or whatever it's called, before the cereal companies make these changes?
I think with the
My
first year-
prediction is before Trump takes office, that they're going to announce something.
Well, to me, it's just the business model. Like, the more ingredients you have to add to something doesn't add the cost to the price of the product. So
not really.
let's say of all these chemicals, you don't
But-
think there could be a
No,
savings?
But,
I think
but
we're-
I'm,
I think
I'm
we're-
asking a question.
I
Though.
think within the 6 months, you're going to see General Mills and all them.
But do you think there's going to be a major announcement before inauguration day?
Yeah, I don't think before.
I think that I predict there. I'm sure. I'm
I think
almost
the-
certain there's because how
think
hard
the-
is it going to be to change over if you're already got plants that are making stuff for Canada?
I think it's going to be. I think it's not going to be before inauguration. I think it's going to be like right after inauguration.
I'm okay, but my point is they're not going to wait until they're told to
Okay.
because it will be bad for publicity.
I think it's in March. I think it's going to be in effect right now. I think you got people.
That's what I just said.
But I think it's not. I think you're saying the Rose Garden right after the inauguration.
No, I'm saying General Mills is going to come out and make an announcement before Trump takes office. I mean, that would be the way to go. If you were a business owner and
Yeah,
you knew something that the axe was going to come down, wouldn't you preempt it and take responsibility for it and say,
It could be a good PR move.
that's what I'm trying to
I think
say?
they do it before. I think they're going to do it when Trump comes in.
I don't think so because that would be stupid.
I think they're going to do it after Trump comes in.
No, I would take it away from him, wouldn't you, John?
I would just say I would, if I was a corporation, I'd make the decision to do it before anything was officially announced. That's what I would do because it'd say, see, look,
Oh,
we already
before
got
it's
this one."
officially announced, yeah. But I would do it to be on the better side of Trump than I would.
That's what I've been trying to say, and
Yeah.
you keep on saying no.
So Anyway, so man, I think there's. I think
Don't fix that respin.
No, but I'm saying that if I was a corporation, I'd come out and then say that we've already done this, and then also help Trump write whatever it is that he wants to write. Like I was
Right.
trying to tell the Compassion Club when all this stuff was coming down,
right.
go into Lansing and help them write the laws for medical marijuana. You already know what's going on.
Right.
Be there, but they never did.
Yeah, because you could be held yourself up as like we have the highest standards because we help establish the standards,
Right.
and that's a good marketing gimmick. I mean, that's like that's happened to a lot of corporations, like car safety, for example.
But you remember me bringing that up,
Yeah, yeah.
saying
Oh, yeah.
that the Compassion Club
Well,
for
testing
medical
product-
marijuana with all those people should go to Lansing to help them write the laws.
Because with you also they did have a testing lab too. Well, it wasn't certified, but you can get for your own general knowledge. If you're producing weed, you can test the content for the chemicals for in marijuana and all that.
But the problem is that the main reason I think they didn't want to go is because they want to go under. They don't want to bring attention
right.
to themselves,
Right.
and I understand that too.
Besides,
But-
you couldn't do banking too. You couldn't open a bank account because it's still prohibited on the federal level. So anything you put into a bank account that came from that kind of production,
Mhm.
was actually considered, illegal activity at that
Well,
point.
if you remember, it was big money
Yeah,
in California for a while. They were waiting until the medical marijuana people were anybody was dealing with medical marijuana was moving their money around.
Yeah.
And then they would go hit that armored car, and they couldn't prove that was actually accounted for because that was never going to go in a bank account.
right. Because there's guys locally here that had a serious concern when they're handing over
Because
fists.
as soon as it went into a bank account, the federal government, of course, could seize it.
Right. So it's like they had to worry about somebody attacking them, their house and stuff like that. So they always try to make sure their money was hidden off site, and they had different places they got rid of it. But I mean, they're trying to just get rid of it. They had so much money coming in. Literally, they're looking for. A lot of them are just trying to find literally places to put it
Legally,
legally.
Right.
So
not trying to hide it. It's just that
they couldn't
everything. If they had to pay a bill, it had to be done in a money order.
Yep.
It couldn't be done by check because by law they couldn't have a
Yeah,
checking
sure, yeah.
account.
Right. So I mean, that's bizarre. But I mean, I think that's got to be changed too. But I don't think Trump's going to be on board for the
He already said he doesn't care if anybody smokes marijuana. Even JD Vance just said it with
Well, that's a lot different than actually for the production of it. on
well,
the
shouldn't
commercial
that tell
side.
you the way that they feel about it? They would be.
Not necessarily.
I think
No.
going in
You think that I can come out and I say I don't give a crap. I don't give a rat's ass if anybody smokes marijuana or uses marijuana or sells marijuana, and then come out against it.
No, I just okay. If there's other groups involved, what he's allowing.
I don't really think they care about the groups anymore. Do you?
Yeah, I do think that's going to still. It's reality. Somebody's going to make an objection. I mean, it might not be.
But at this point, do you think Trump's going to go in there and say, "Oh, you have an objection to all these groups," or he has a mandate to do what he wants?
Yeah, but sometimes having a mandate doesn't mean you can take that
I
mandate.
think
and
that's the
screw it
wrong
up.
way of thinking. I think he needs to go in there and just tear shit up because he has the popular vote.
Right.
I mean, how many times? What did they say? He doesn't have the popular vote last time, right?
Right.
Right.
He's got the
They
popular
can't
vote.
say that. He beat her by over 1 million votes.
Well,
What do you mean, whoa?
no, that's
You're
true.
thinking about weak need. That's being weak need. He just needs to go in there and just do what he wants to do.
No, you're right. I mean, he's the first time.
This is his last term, so what does it matter, anyways?
You need to set up for the next term too. I mean, this is the best part about it.
No,
is that-
you can't look at it like that. I need to set this up. He needs to do what's right
Listen,
for the American people.
90% of the time, when a person gets a second term, honestly, usually it's a lame duck.
It's
Lame
not gonna be
duck.
this
He's
way.
not going to be
This won't
lame
it
duck.
won't- Would you let me finish? This one won't be a lame duck. I guarantee that. I agree with you on that one. But here's the deal: you also got JD Vance coming in, taking the same.
JD Vance is his own man. He's going to have to. You know how many people he's going to have to go up against? You think he's just going to be going there like
He's going to come
Harris did?
underneath Trump. He's going to come underneath Trump. I
Okay,
think JD Vance is going to be the next one, right behind Trump.
if that,
and he'll have the same
but
mandate.
if he's the best candidate, yes, he will be the next president.
He'll
He's
be.
not. We don't do that. We don't have coronations.
I'm not saying he's going to be
States.
coronated, but I think he's the best one that's going to actually pull the MAGA.
Right now, you don't know how it's going to be in 4 years, and you don't know who the candidates are even going to be.
Unless you got Toss coming up and right behind it.
Maybe.
All right. So here's the deal. You got Trump going in there. I don't think he's got to figure out what hills he wants to die on.
I think he already did. Like I said, he's going to be.
But if this is a
No.
hill, this is not a big hill to die on. to say,
Yes, it is. He made promises to people.
no, this putting money into a bank for marijuana companies, I don't think is a bad thing to do because honestly, marijuana companies are putting that money into the bank and letting it go through bank accounts. I think that's a smart move because that will actually put money back into the economy.
But he's made deals with a lot of people with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't think he's going to go? You don't think people are going to be screaming? The banks lobbyists aren't going to be screaming at him, and they're going to make these fake organizations coming up to argue with them about it. Why it's a bad thing? So you think he should listen to them too?
He's gonna have to listen to them, but he's going to actually look and say he can make a major thing about it.
But why can't he do the same thing with marijuana industry?
He can.
That's all I'm saying.
I didn't tell you it was the wrong thing to do. Saying it's not a big hill to die on.
In your opinion,
It's
in my opinion, it is a big hill to die on.
I definitely think if he went that route, it would seal up. Basically, it eliminated.
It'd be done.
Yeah,
It'd be off the table.
Yeah, and they couldn't use that as the Democrats couldn't bring that back later and say he said we got this legalized so many states and you still
Okay, but don't you think there's a big corporate money that doesn't want it to be legal?
Oh, yeah.
Because who do you think's making the money right now? Who do you think's behind this thing on these places that you see, these big ones that you see on Center Road and on Davison Road? Do you think those aren't
those are mom and pops? No, I know.
no,
that,
they're big corporations, and they don't want groups like the Compassion Club to be able to survive.
that's what all their concern was too all the years is some corporation's going to try to basically, okay, you got to legalize now. Okay, we got it. We're taking this from you now.
And that's
This
what
is
they're
your
trying to
house. That's
do
what they're
right
trying to
now.
do.
never to try about
Yeah.
the mom house.
I mean, how many of them you've seen go out of business already?
Right.
Well, in one way though, there's like every corner you look at, there's a
They're closing down. I know with two of them right off the top of my head that they put a lot of money into the Rainbow.
Yeah.
The Rainbow Lounge. Remember when they
Yeah.
took that over and made it the Citizens whatever?
Yeah, that was
A lot of money went into that building.
and then they close it down.
But what I'm saying is that it will be corporate lobbyists that will be screaming, and I don't think he's going to be listening to them.
No, I don't think Trump listens to a lot of lobbyists.
I don't really think so either. I think he listens to the American people far more, and that's why I like him for. I mean, he does what we want.
And that's where a lot of the different people, that's where a lot of people, blue collar listens. And that's where I was trying to tell you yesterday, the blue collar, when you're saying you're going, you can't say something about the left and right. What I was trying to explain to you is that I'm not really saying blue and left and right. I'm trying to say blue collar workers, even though you don't like to say it, the blue collar workers are the ones he listens to. He expanded.
I think he listens to everybody.
He doesn't
listens. You
listen- I don't
can't.
think he
Yes, he does. Most of the people in his cabinet are millionaires and billionaires.
He listens to him. He grows up with him. He walks around him, but he actually spent. You see him more comfortable.
I think he talks to people.
he listens to everybody.
He talks to people.
Right.
I think
That's what you. I think.
that's
I agree with that.
He talks to when people say like, "Oh, he talks to his base." He talks to his base, but he expanded this base. He expanded his. He
Didn't expand his base. His coalition did it. Do you know how hard Elon Musk was working in Pennsylvania?
Oh,
He
yeah.
had people all over. It's not about Trump, and he says that too. It's about the people around him.
this is the best representation of people about people politics. That's what
He
I
even says it's not about him.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying.
No, I'm just
I
saying.
guess I'm saying it wrong because I think you're not catching what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to tell you is that I'm not saying Donald
Trump
Trump
didn't get
got
elected.
everybody.
Trump
I'm
didn't
saying
get
Trump's
himself elected.
MAGA, I think what the MAGA movement is not just about one thing. It's expanded out the whole base.
Well, you call it the MAGA movement. It's the people of the United States that elected him.
I think this is better, but represents the people better than
Right.
any other organization or club or whatever they said. They
And
tell
if
me
you
it's
notice,
not a
when
party.
in his speech, he didn't talk MAGA. He
No.
didn't say anything about MAGA. He talked about the people of America.
Right. It's not a party. If you notice, this is not a party. Yes, we voted and it becomes more Republican, but we're not a party.
Yeah,
If you notice.
because he's cut across. It's
I'm
obvious.
just saying you got to. That's old thinking.
Well, that's the thing is okay. You say it's all thinking. I can agree with you, but it's so new that the old.
It's
is
hard.
still there. It's
I
not
know,
that. Yeah.
but I mean, you got to rewire your brain.
But it is like it's really a recent
Yeah,
development.
but we've gone all our lives going one way or the other. And now it's like you're looking at something that's totally because I've always been independent. Now I'm looking at this going, oh my God, where I'm going down the line of is this movement. And it's not even it's a movement and it's not even a party. And it's cool.
No, what I think
It's been like this for like
The
12
media
years.
is the one that tried to put a finger on it. And they're the ones calling it a movement. Well, no, it's just a lot of like-minded
Because they
people.
wanted to stop
No,
it.
what it is that people are bringing it back to where it's supposed to be, back
American
in the
people.
middle. People,
Well, I think life does that. Don't
What?
you? Don't you think life in a way brings it back?
no, it had to be
American-
done. And enough people knew that it had to be done that they voted for Trump.
You asked me at the one beginning of this show. You did ask me one time. You said, "What would you done? Would you have been scared if she won?" And versus the other one, you want the honest answer to it? Yeah, because honestly, I felt like if we went the other way, we had been heading toward communism.
Yeah, she had all the markings of true
The
Marxist.
people behind her, really.
Well,
I mean,
no,
because she's just a vapid, empty
God.
vessel.
I mean, her dad was the Marxist, but I mean, she didn't even absorb.
I don't even think she could spell Marxist.
She couldn't spell her main.
But she cackles all the time. I mean, that's annoying.
She even did it during her concession
Oh yeah,
speech.
I saw that. I think so. It's nervousness. I don't care. Eliminate it. Give it a
Right.
shot collar.
And she quoted
Yeah.
she quoted Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
And she called him a historian.
Historian.
She couldn't even say his name.
Well, she didn't even say Joe's name.
Who?
Joe
I
Biden.
thought
Oh,
she did that little
I
look.
didn't
The guy that's in the White House right now.
Joe who? No. So anyway.
No, I was being serious. I forgot that he was the president.
Well, so you think you're
The guy in Delaware right now that's sitting on the beach. That guy.
Oh, the Julian Joe.
The guy who invited. Well, I guess they're saying it's tradition. I don't think it's traditional as they. I don't know. Did Trump sit down with them? I think he did, didn't he?
Obama?
Yeah,
Didn't they
so.
sat in the chairs around the
Yeah.
fireplace?
Yeah, I think
Not
so.
around the fireplace. It was a quick photo op and he's out.
Yeah.
But I think Joe's going to talk to him for a while. No, I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna have a good conversation.
Okay, good
I know.
conversation.
No, I think
So they find Joe.
when he's lucid, he can talk. I'm saying no.
day.
Okay, you guys can make fun of me all you want.
no, so
I
no,
think
making fun of Joe
I think
Biden.
it's going to be a good photo op,
right.
and Joe's going to be smiling, and Trump's going to be smiling, and he's going to talk to him.
Yeah, I think they're going to talk. I think because it's all over with now. There's
Yeah.
no more animosity.
Well,
I mean,
I hope not.
not between those two.
But I don't care. Yeah, I don't really care. I was gonna say I don't really care if there's animosity.
But think about it. Some of the people that he cut down to nothingness, and you would think that you thought they were human garbage. Look what he did with Cruz. He was all over Cruz. Marco
Rubio, yeah.
Rubio. He's been on stage with them several times.
Megan Kelly.
Yeah, all these people. He doesn't hold any grudges,
No.
and he doesn't expect people to hold grudges.
No.
So,
And
I mean, after the things he said, Krispy Kreme, do you?
but him and Chris Christie's been friends for a long time.
Yeah, I would have a hard time being friends with that guy myself.
Well, even Gutfeld, you see the things
They said about each other. And then
one
now-
man would say, and then Tyrus is always saying, "But he's your friend."
I don't.
There-
I mean, hey, look at your friends. You got friends who probably trash talk you, talking to you. You'll sit there.
We're
trash
right here at
Yeah,
the
we
table.
trash talk
Oh,
each other all the time. It's just-
So
well, here's okay. So they did say the reason why Kamala Harris did not call and concede was because she was
She's
kind of
drunk,
she
yeah.
was drunk.
well, that
Well, did you see that there was a
And she didn't wake
woman,
up until 1
a
o'clock.
woman that spoke out because she was at what was the name of the college that Harris went to? That's where she
Howard.
went. She
Howard,
went
yeah.
to Howard University, and all those people were at
Yeah.
her watch party or whatever.
Right.
One of the people were so upset. She was so upset that she spoke out and said, "Thank God we found out now what a kind of person she is.
Yeah,
I would have never want her to be my president."
Look at the blistering blows that they delivered to Donald Trump, and he kept on going. He was like the
Energizer bunny.
the Energizer bunny. I'm serious. And besides Donald Trump, if you listen to this or anybody else, get some rest somewhere. I mean,
Well,
got
I
lots to
mean,
do,
but you
but-
gotta. He gave her the dignity. He gave her the dignity of the day. He didn't come out and make any announcements. He let her have the day for her speech.
yeah, he's a class act. I mean, some people say that's bullshit, but I think he is a class act. I mean, the way he treated this and in that situation, yeah, I do. So you think about wrap it up today?
Yeah,
All
I
right,
think
so-
I beat up on Todd enough, and like you said, maybe we need to come in early to argue before the show about
Get your restream
technology.